following Thursday.
Stop! Don't. They look creepy as shit. They look sus, in cahoots, all the whole nine.
Two years ago, I had a job interview in the city. I also lived in the city in an apartment, and I was able to walk there. I had a car, but the job was only 5 blocks away, so I was hoping that I would get it. The interview that I was going to was definitely an upgrade from the current job that I had at the time. I was feeling really confident about it, and I was really well qualified too. The interview was at 10 a.m., and I left early from my apartment to walk there. Right when I got up from my building to the sidewalk, though, there was this guy who was kind of standing around by the door like he was waiting for somebody.
Okay.
He was just wearing a sweatshirt, a baseball cap, and jeans. I turned to go to the right and started walking, and then he began walking a ways behind me. I passed several other people on the sidewalk and went the 5 blocks to my interview. At one point, I had to turn at a street, and the guy that was walking behind me did as well. When I got to the building, I went inside. The building was a large, tall building with many stories. It had large glass windows on the main floor, and after I got inside, I noticed that the man who had been walking behind me seemed to just be standing around near the door outside. Had he been following me for some reason? I went inside and went up a few levels to the interview.
Not the interview going on, and you just don't know about it. Not that guy that's outside the building at both times. Not that's part of the interview. Hell no.
Then I proceeded with the job interview, which went really well for me. It took maybe an hour, and then I left. As I was leaving out the same doors that I had entered through, I noticed that the man was still standing around outside. As I approached the exit doors, I considered trying to find another exit, but I chose not to. When I neared the doors, though, the man seemed to see me for maybe half a second. Then, he turned around and walked back the opposite direction. I got outside of the building and noticed him walking away, so I walked home, which was not the direction he was going in. I felt relieved, and I made it home just fine. I was really curious, though, as to what the man was doing. It seemed an awful lot like he had been following me. And had he been standing around outside the building the whole time I had my interview? I certainly didn't know the guy either. There were a lot of questions that I just didn't have answers to. The next day, I was told that I had gotten the job. I was very excited about that, and I would be starting after I left my current job the next week. I would say maybe 2 days after that, I had been out and got back to my apartment one night. When I walked down the hallway to get to my place, I noticed something on my front door. There appeared to be a piece of paper taped to it. When I got to my door, I took the note and looked at it. It was like a little bit bigger than a post-it note, and it was folded in half. When I opened it, there was handwriting that said, "Did you get the job?" After reading this, I got the creeps. I knew it was probably written by the same guy who had followed me. Was there somebody stalking me? After that, I was really careful when I went anywhere. Luckily, the lease on my apartment ended not too long after that, and I had been planning to get a nicer place. With the new job, I was able to. In the meantime, I was very suspicious of people and drove almost everywhere, even to work. The good news is, I didn't see the guy again. It's all very strange, but I would still like an explanation.
But whole time, even though you moved, he still know where you work at. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking that this guy is a part of this whole operation, is part of this whole building, like this whole job. I don't know, maybe your job might be in cahoots.
This happened like 5 years ago.
Mark,
I was 8.
what the hell? I thought that said Marcus, Marcus, right? This is Marcus Cinema. What the hell? Look like a nice. I'm not gonna hold you. Look like a nice movie theater. I'm not gonna. Hey, but I hope this movie theater, this specific movie theater, is not about this horror story, because go ahead and take my name out of that.
At the time, and I remember that I was looking for a summer job. I applied to a movie theater in the area, and I heard back from them through email that they would like to interview me. They gave me a time for the interview, which was at night because it was still towards the end of the school year.
Okay.
The interview was at like 8 p.m.
Wow.
And that's all the information that they really gave me.
That's wow.
I was happy to get the interview because I thought working at a movie theater might be enjoyable for me. When the day of the interview came, though, I was really nervous.
I heard it's nice.
I got dressed in nicer clothes and then drove to the theater. When I got there, I realized that I wasn't really sure where I was supposed to go. They hadn't given me any instructions in the email for like a room that the interview was in or who to talk to. When I got inside the theater, it was really busy. There were people all over the place, and there was a long line going through both the concessions and the ticket lines. It was a good thing for me that I had arrived about 20 minutes early. I thought about just getting in line with everybody else and then telling them that I was there for the interview, but I thought maybe I could look around and find a manager or something. As I looked around the crowded theater lobby, a man approached me. He asked me if I needed help with something. I told him that I was there for a job interview and I wasn't really sure where to go or who to talk to. The guy apologized and said that things were just really busy and he would interview me himself. He told me his name was Kevin. He was one of the managers. He told me to relax and the interview wouldn't take too long.
Your name Kevin? Kevin? Kevin. You a manager here? Bet. Okay. No. I you know what I mean? I'm ready for the interview. It's just, oh man. I just got a question to ask you, like before we start. You're a manager, right? So if that's the case, right? If you can just help me out with something, just one question. Why do you have on a Walmart uniform? And this is AMC. That's oh, you're a clock ass. Oh, okay. Alright. Fuck out of here. I heard working at a movie theater is it's, I mean, you know what I mean, it's a job and I get it, but like the people that I know that worked at a movie theater was like, it's not all that cracked up to be. But I also heard the same thing about like working at Six Flags too. I heard they treat the employees like Jesus. Not. I just realized what I said. When I said I heard they treat their employees like, and I was like, Jesus. They don't treat their employees like Jesus. I'm just saying they treat their employees like shit. Jesus.
Both walked over and sat at a table and some chairs that they had in the corner by a window. He asked me some basic questions about myself, and then some questions relating to the job. The whole interview went on for maybe 10 minutes. Kevin was really friendly, and after the interview, he told me that they would call me within a couple of days and let me know if I had gotten the job. Then I left the theater. I got back inside my car and drove home. I lived with my parents at the time, and when I got home, I told them how the interview had gone. Then I went to my bedroom. A while later, I went to sleep at maybe 10 p.m.
He about to get a text. He about to get an email and be like, you know the interview started at 8. We waited for like 10 minutes. Why didn't you show up? Like what?
Woke up a bit later though. The first thing I remember after waking up was the sound of my window being raised up. It was pretty warm at that time of year, and my window would be lifted maybe an inch, and then there was a screen window that was shut. I was confused, partly just from waking up, and partly from wondering why my window was raising. The window was maybe 10 feet from my bed where I was. As I sat up, I looked over to it. I saw the window raising very slowly, and I jumped up from my bed and went to the other side of it. Things were quiet for a moment, and then I saw a man start to climb through the window.
This is the time that you need to have 1,000 degrees vegetable oil on standby, or Lucille. I need to have a weapon named after me. I don't know what that would be though. I don't know. But I've seen this video on Instagram where I don't know if it's real or not. Hopefully I can find it. Probably not. But like somebody was trying to get in their house and they put the arm. So back in the day, they used to have. I don't know if they still have them now. They used to have mail slots in your door. So like instead of like having a mailbox, the mail people can open up like a little doorway, like a little slot in your door, and you can put the mail in, and it goes in on the other side, like inside your house. But like I seen on the video, it was like somebody put their arm through the mail slot trying to get in, but the person on the inside of the door, like on the inside of the house, just saw all this shit. So all this going down, had a bat ready, and it looked, and he hit the ever living blood cells out of his arm. That would be something that I would do. Like you need to do that.
When he did, he looked right at me. He looked surprised to see me. I noticed that it was Kevin, the guy that had interviewed me for the movie theater job.
Oh, good. Great, I got the hiccups. Hey, hold on, I got to stretch. Can y'all see this? Can y'all see this? I can see that. Right? Right? Damn. Y'all can't. Y'all can see. Right here. There's something blocking the literal middle of the camera screen. So I can't. Y'all can see that. All right. Just picture like this, like the window, right? Be like, hey, how you doing? Relax. Hey, man, relax. I just want to let you know, right? You listening? Relax, man. I just want to let you know. You got the job. All right, bet. I'm not going to lie. My heart dropped a little bit because I forgot Adam was right here. So when I opened it, I'm not used to Adam being right here. Not yet. So because when I open the door, I'm used to it to like opening all the way. So when it stopped like halfway, I was like, who the hell is in here? Oh my God.
He backed away and disappeared out the window again. I then ran out of my room and basically woke everybody else up in the house. I didn't want to go back into my bedroom, but I knew I had to. When I did, nobody was there any longer, but the window was still left wide open. We called the police, who looked around, but Kevin was long gone. I told them everything, though, and expected them to be able to find Kevin easily. However, the next day, I learned that things were more complicated. Kevin didn't even work at the movie theater. The movie theater didn't know who he was, and they thought that I had just failed to show up for my job interview. I don't know if Kevin was ever found. As for the movie theater, I was really mad that they left me no instructions on where to go. They seemed pretty disorganized. When they learned what happened, the movie theater offered me a job interview again, but I declined. I didn't want to work for that theater anymore. I was able to find another job later on in the summer.
That's funny.
About 2 weeks ago, I had a job interview in the city. It was for a tech company that I was interested in working for. I should also mention that I'm a woman. During that time, I had applied to several jobs and actually gotten about 5 interviews from different companies. For this one particular interview, it was at a company headquarters which had many employees. The person interviewing me was a man who introduced himself as AJ. AJ began the interview and things started out very normal. However, things turned badly. AJ was asking me questions, and a couple of times, he mixed in more personal questions that didn't seem like they were part of the interview.
Okay. Alright. AJ, I'm adding you to the Cluck's names list. Now, well, I feel like anybody that's named AJ, and it's not like even an acronym for something, like their name is literal 2 letters, AJ. Yeah. But why had to be it had to be AJ? It couldn't be like BJ, CP, AC, DC, XYZ. Like just it had to be AJ. AJ, if your name is AJ and it's not an acronym for anything, your name is like on your birth certificate, it says AJ. Get the hell off. Get unsubscribe. Go ahead.
I didn't know why he would be asking me that. He seemed to be getting off topic a bit and was seeming really unprofessional. He was sort of making conversation with me while conducting the interview, and it wasn't bothering me until he asked if I wanted to do something later with him.
Okay.
I thought he was joking at first, but he wasn't. When I said no, his whole attitude changed. He went from really friendly and happy to a much more serious tone. In fact, the interview only lasted like 5 more minutes. At the end, he asked me if I was sure I didn't want to do anything with him later.
What?
When I said yes, he asked if I wanted to the next day. By this point, I felt like the job would not be something that I was interested in, and I just said bye to AJ and left. I was glad it was over, and that I had several other job interviews lined up. But the very next day, AJ texted me. He tried starting a conversation with me and let me know that it was him. I asked AJ why he was still texting me when I made things very clear to him at the interview. Then I asked him to leave me alone, but he didn't. He kept on texting me. I then decided to contact the company. I wasn't sure if they were aware or not of AJ's behavior, and I was pretty upset with the whole thing. When I reported him, I was told that they would take the matter very seriously. And the next day, I got yet another text from AJ. He was angry this time, and said that he had gotten fired because of me. Then he blocked me. I was actually so happy when he blocked me, because I figured I wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. Of course, I don't want other people to get fired, and that wasn't my intention, but he had definitely...
What? That would have been my intentions. What you talking about? If I'm ever on a job interview and you go from, this job is really family oriented. We like to help out. We like to help out each other and treat people with the utmost respect and just really just have a good time here, like at this location. Like we're really happy and yeah. So what size is your yeah? Alright.
Crossed the line. Things didn't end there though. A couple of days later, I was at the grocery store. I was leaving and had just gotten a bunch of food for the week. I put it in the back of my car and then got inside. It was nighttime and things were very quiet. When I got inside my car, I just happened to notice another car that was running a few rows over. I'm not sure why, but I looked at the driver. It was dark out, but it looked an awful lot like AJ. At first, I thought that it was a funny coincidence, but the more I looked at him, the more I could tell that it was definitely him.
Why is that funny?
I couldn't believe it. When I looked a little longer, he seemed to look over, and then he quickly looked away and drove off. After that happened, I never saw him again. I landed another job a week later. However, this wasn't all that long ago, and I still worry sometimes if he might be stalking me.
He is. He is. Just because he's not within a few, like a mile or, man, somebody can stalk you and be halfway across the country. You don't got to be right next to you to stalk you. So I would say keep your guard up. Have some Adidas 29,000s on. Right? Lock everything that should be, anything in your house that can be locked should be locked. When you leave the house, be on high alert. Go from point A to point B to point C to point D. Don't lollygag. Do what you need to do and get the hell out of there. Cause nah, nah. You just, I feel like you're naive and you'll get clocked up. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.